Jeremy Doku has emerged as the latest sensation in the Premier League, showcasing Pep Guardiola's keen eye for transfers. He appears to be the player Manchester United had hoped Antony would become. However, is Doku's impressive start just a honeymoon phase, or is he genuinely exceptional? Exploring where Guardiola discovered him and how he can make a significant impact on the Premier League will provide insights into his potential. Jeremy Doku, a new addition to Manchester City, has received high praise from manager Pep Guardiola, who noted that the 21-year-old winger is making an outstanding impact. Doku was born in Antwerp, Belgium on May 27, 2002, and his love for football began at a young age. His parents fully supported his passion and provided him with the tools to pursue it. He came from a sports-oriented family, with his father, David Doku, being a former athlete, and his brother, Jefferson Doku, also being part of Belgian club Anderlecht's youth team. Like his brother, Doku joined Anderlecht's youth team and eventually earned a spot in the senior team in 2018. He scored his first professional goal for the club on December 1, 2019. His performances in the 2019-20 season caught the attention of the French club Rennes, who signed him in October 2020 for €26 million plus additional bonuses. Doku's time at Rennes was described as career-defining. He not only scored his first goal for the French club, but also set a record with 12 successful dribbles in a single match against Bordeaux, surpassing the previous record held by global football superstar Neymar. His impressive performances at Rennes led to his move to Manchester City in 2023. Doku made his debut for the Belgian national team on September 5, 2020, and just 3 days later, he scored his first international goal in a commanding 5-1 victory against Iceland in a UEFA Nations League fixture. Upon joining City, Doku expressed his eagerness to learn and improve, stating that working with Guardiola's team of world-class players would make him a much better player. Pep Guardiola often talks about what surprises him about Jeremy Doku. He's impressed by how clever Doku is when making decisions on the field. Guardiola has mentioned this multiple times. Doku quickly applies feedback and understands the game well. Guardiola doesn't want to change how he plays because he performs well in every game, especially at home. Doku was in the spotlight again because he scored City's first goal and provided 4 assists, earning him the Man of the Match title. Guardiola has also been surprised at how fast Doku has adapted to the team. It's clear that Guardiola didn't expect Doku to become such an important part of City's attack so quickly. In many games, Doku has been the key player, not just performing well at specific moments, but being a central part of the overall game plan. The team trusts him to lead their attacks, even though he's relatively new to the team that has achieved great success. So, did Guardiola expect this to happen? Guardiola responded by saying it's a good question, and while his answer was revealing, it wasn't a direct one. He mentioned that it's natural for players on the field to make decisions on their own. Players understand who to pass the ball to in the final third because they know that player can create scoring opportunities. Guardiola gave an example of a recent training session where Doku outperformed Kyle Walker, and that made his teammates more inclined to pass to Doku in games. It's not something he has to instruct them to do, it happens naturally. But did he expect his teammates to be so impressed with Doku's abilities? Guardiola shared that after his surgery in Doku's early games with the team, he noticed Doku was a bit shy. He reminded Doku of his skills, like dribbling and being aggressive, and encouraged him to use them without hesitation. Guardiola emphasized that Doku's decision-making has been a pleasant surprise. To see how much progress Doku has made in a short time, it's helpful to look back at his debut against Fulham 2 months ago. At that time, he made mistakes, took too many touches, mishandled simple passes, and easily lost possession. In all honesty, he didn't perform well, but that's perfectly normal for a 21-year-old player, especially when joining a team with a different style of play like Manchester City. Doku is not the first Manchester City player who needed some time to adapt. Players like Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, Joao Cancelo, Leroy Sané, Rodri, and Riyad Mahrez all needed a season to find their footing. So it was understandable that Doku had a rough start, and both he and Guardiola were unhappy with it. The lesson from his debut was that while you could see Doku's quality, he would need time to settle in, just like those other players. Surprisingly, that time turned out to be just 14 days. He showed significant improvement in the following match against West Ham, scoring City's equaliser with a trademark dribble from the touchline. Since then, he's consistently performed well. In the West Ham game, he not only scored a crucial goal shortly after halftime, but was also City's main player throughout the first half. The team focused on the left side of the field, and Doku delivered. He created opportunities and danger, although others missed chances that would have resulted in assists for him. This point remains true even in games where City doesn't perform as well. For example, in a 2-1 loss to Wolverhampton Wanderers, City had a poor showing, and Doku didn't shine as brightly as in other matches. However, Guardiola's trust in Doku's abilities to make things happen was clear. This was even more evident in the game against Brighton and Hove Albion when Doku outplayed James Milner in the first half. He repeated this impressive performance against Bournemouth. Part of his success can be attributed to circumstances. City faced key injuries at the beginning of the season, and Jack Grealish, who played a major role on the left last season, struggled with injuries and form. So to some extent, Doku had to step up and be the main player. But there was no guarantee that he could perform so well. Now, with most players back from injury and Grealish in excellent form in the previous games, Guardiola still selects Doku to be the go-to player because he can and deserves to be in that role. Doku has scored 2 goals and provided 5 assists in the Premier League, and his style of play is truly exciting to watch. Guardiola mentioned that everyone, including himself, gets excited when Doku gets the ball and starts a run. However, it won't always be like this for every game. Guardiola will also use Grealish, as he did in the game against Manchester United, where Grealish performed exceptionally well. Guardiola also noted that Doku is not used to the demanding rhythm of playing 3 games in a week, and it will take time for him to adapt, just as Grealish did. Guardiola now has 2 excellent options for the left wing position, and there's no reason they can't both play at the same time. Doku, who has mostly played on the right throughout his career, might move to the right side in the future. This presents a new challenge for City's manager. Guardiola mentioned that they need to convince Doku to perform on the right side as effectively as he does on the left. He showed promise on the right during a game against Young Boys in the second half. It's interesting that Doku, who prefers the right side, appears to be more dangerous on the left. However, he has also delivered from the right, providing assists for players like Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland. 2 months ago, it seemed like Doku needed time to adapt, but now he's being asked to perform consistently on the other side, showing that City has high standards and that Doku has exceeded expectations. People have been hearing about Doku's potential for a few years, but his stats suggested he lacked the finishing touch. However, in the recent games, he has been a pleasant surprise. Wingers tend to make a big impact at a young age, but it takes time for them to learn how to make the right decisions after beating their defender. His performance against Bournemouth with 1 goal and 4 assists shows that he's already at that level, and he's likely to improve even more. When Doku has the ball, everyone on the team eagerly anticipates what he'll do next, which is a significant compliment in a team filled with talented players. Watching how this player progresses will be exciting. In a team as strong as Manchester City is now, his success is almost certain. If he keeps playing and improving the way he is currently, he might even become one of the best wingers in the world. What are your thoughts on Doku? Share in the comments below.